Barack Obama's message about the power of individual voice reminds us that true change always begins with one person daring to speak up. He emphasizes that your voice is more than just words, it's a reflection of your beliefs, courage, and vision for the future. Too often, people underestimate the value of what they have to say, assuming that their opinions won't matter or that someone else will take the lead. Obama challenges this mindset by asserting that progress has always depended on individuals who chose to speak, even when no one else would. From civil rights leaders to ordinary citizens, history is filled with examples of people who refused to stay silent and, in doing so, changed the course of society. He explains that having a voice means having the ability to influence hearts and minds, to push conversations forward, and to inspire others to believe in something greater than themselves. Obama also highlights that finding your voice is not always easy. It requires courage, especially in a world where fear of judgment, criticism, or failure often keeps people quiet. Many stay silent because they feel small or insignificant, but Obama insists that the size of your audience does not determine the strength of your message. Even if one person hears you and feels encouraged, that alone is impact. Your words can plant a seed that grows into action, confidence, or even a movement. He wants people to realize that silence allows the wrong voices, those of hatred, division, and ignorance, to dominate. When good people stay quiet, injustice thrives. That is why using your voice, no matter how uncertain you feel, is an act of power and resistance. Moreover, Obama explains that using your voice doesn't always mean shouting or demanding attention. Sometimes it means speaking truth with calm conviction, showing empathy, or standing up for someone who can't defend themselves. Every voice has a unique tone and purpose, and the world needs all of them. Speaking up can mean writing, creating, teaching, or simply choosing honesty over comfort. Obama's words remind us that the first step toward change is believing that you matter and that your thoughts deserve to be heard. Once you understand that your voice carries weight, you begin to realize your responsibility to use it wisely, not just for yourself, but for others who may not yet have the strength to do so. Barack Obama stresses that having a voice comes with a deep moral responsibility to use it for what is right, even when doing so is uncomfortable or unpopular. He reminds listeners that silence in the face of injustice is a form of acceptance, and choosing not to act is still a choice. True leadership, he explains, does not always require authority or position. It requires the courage to speak up when it matters. Obama believes that every person, no matter their background or circumstances, has the ability to stand for truth, fairness, and compassion. He calls upon individuals to be honest and bold in expressing what they believe in, to challenge systems of inequality, and to protect those whose voices are being ignored or silenced. The measure of a person's character, he says, lies in how they respond when confronted with difficult moral choices, when standing up for what's right comes with personal risk or sacrifice. Obama also emphasizes that responsibility does not only mean reacting to big issues like politics or social justice. It begins in small, everyday moments. It's about speaking up against bullying, discrimination, dishonesty, or unfairness in daily life. Each time you choose integrity over silence, you strengthen the foundation of a more just society. He urges people not to wait for someone else to take action, because change always starts at a personal level. Your example has the power to influence others when one person speaks with conviction. It gives others permission to do the same. That's how collective change begins, one honest voice inspiring another. He also points out that responsibility must be rooted in respect. Speaking for what's right does not mean silencing others or forcing your beliefs onto them. It means listening deeply, learning from different perspectives, and using your voice to unite rather than divide. Obama highlights that real strength lies in the ability to speak with empathy, to care not only about your own struggles, but also about the struggles of others. When you raise your voice with purpose, backed by values of fairness and humanity, it becomes a force that cannot easily be ignored. In his message, Obama wants people to recognize that using their voice is both a privilege and a duty. It is how we defend justice, protect truth, and shape a future that reflects our shared ideals. Barack Obama emphasizes that while the power of one voice is undeniable, the strength of many voices united can move mountains. He explains that real, lasting change does not come from isolated individuals working alone, but from communities coming together with a shared purpose. Unity, he says, is what transforms vision into reality. Throughout history, great movements from civil rights to freedom struggles succeeded not because of a single leader, but because people stood together for a common cause. Obama highlights that collaboration, empathy, and collective effort are the backbone of progress. When people listen to one another, respect differences, and find common ground, they create an unbreakable force that can confront even the toughest challenges. He also points out that unity does not mean uniformity. It's not about everyone thinking the same way or agreeing on everything. Rather, it's about recognizing that our differences can make us stronger when we work toward a shared goal. Obama reminds us that democracy thrives on participation. It depends on the willingness of individuals to show up, speak out, and contribute to the collective good. He believes that every person has something valuable to offer, and when those unique perspectives come together, solutions become more creative and more inclusive. In a world that often feels divided by politics, race, religion, and ideology, Obama calls for a renewed commitment to understanding one another instead of tearing each other down. He warns that division weakens a nation and makes progress harder to achieve. When people focus on what separates them instead of what connects them, mistrust grows and fear replaces cooperation. Obama encourages us to reject cynicism and negativity by focusing on shared hopes, the desire for safety, opportunity, and dignity. He believes that humanity's greatest strength lies in its ability to come together, even after disagreements, to build something better. Finally, Obama urges everyone to remember that unity starts with listening. By taking time to hear other voices, even those we disagree with, we show respect and open the door to understanding. Progress requires both courage and compassion, courage to speak up and compassion to listen. When individuals join forces with open hearts and shared purpose, they create a ripple effect that inspires others to believe again in the power of community. That, Obama says, is how collective change becomes unstoppable. Barack Obama places great importance on the idea of hope, calling it one of the most powerful forces a person can possess. He explains that hope is not simply a feeling or a dream. It is an active belief that change is possible even in the face of adversity. For Obama, hope is the foundation of progress. It gives people the strength to keep moving forward when circumstances are difficult and the future feels uncertain. He reminds listeners that many of the greatest achievements in history were made by people who refused to give up even when the odds were stacked against them. Hope, he says, is what keeps humanity striving for better systems, better communities, and a better world. Without it, progress stops because people lose the will to act. Obama contrasts hope with cynicism and fear, which he sees as the biggest threats to personal and collective growth. Cynicism convinces people that their actions don't matter, that nothing will ever change, and that the world is too broken to fix. Fear, on the other hand, keeps people from taking risks or speaking up. He urges everyone to reject these negative emotions and instead choose hope, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Hope allows people to imagine a future that doesn't yet exist and to work toward it with determination. Obama emphasizes that genuine hope is not blind optimism. It doesn't ignore challenges or pretend that everything is fine. True hope acknowledges difficulties but refuses to surrender to them. It's the belief that effort, courage, and persistence can turn even the smallest spark into something extraordinary. He also connects hope to leadership and influence. A hopeful person inspires others simply by their attitude. When someone believes deeply in a positive outcome and acts on it, that belief spreads. It reminds others that there is still good worth fighting for. Obama believes that every act of hope, whether it's helping a neighbor, mentoring a child, or working for justice, contributes to a larger wave of positive change. In his message, Obama calls on people to protect their sense of hope, especially in difficult times. He believes that hope is what unites people across generations and cultures, because at its core, it is a shared belief in possibility. Hope turns fear into faith, struggle into strength, and dreams into action. Barack Obama concludes his message by reminding people that believing in their voice and values is not enough unless they take action. He explains that change only happens when individuals are willing to turn their words and ideas into meaningful steps forward. Too often, people talk about wanting a better world but wait for someone else to make it happen. Obama challenges this passive mindset, urging everyone to become active participants in shaping the future. He emphasizes that every person has the ability to make an impact through voting, volunteering, mentoring, standing up for others, or simply doing their work with honesty and dedication. Big transformations start from small, consistent actions taken with purpose. He encourages listeners to stop underestimating their influence because every ripple begins with one decision to act. Obama believes that responsibility is not about perfection, but about persistence. Taking action means showing up even when it's hard, even when success seems far away. He reminds people that progress takes time and effort, and the path to real change is rarely smooth. Failure, rejection, and disappointment are part of the process, but they are not reasons to stop trying. The difference between those who dream and those who achieve is discipline, the willingness to keep going despite obstacles. Obama often draws on his own experiences in community organizing and politics, explaining that lasting change requires patience and belief in the process. He urges individuals to lead not just by talking, but by example to inspire others through their actions rather than empty promises. He also highlights that action should come from a place of integrity and empathy. Using your voice effectively means acting in ways that uplift others, not just yourself. Whether it's helping a classmate, supporting a cause, or standing up for fairness, every positive act contributes to a larger movement of goodness. Obama reminds people that leadership is not about position or fame, it's about service and impact. Even the smallest act of kindness or courage can create waves that inspire others to follow. Ultimately, Obama's message is clear. Your voice only matters if you use it. The world doesn't change through silence or waiting. It changes when people like you decide to take action, step forward, and do something meaningful. By acting with purpose, compassion, and persistence, you become part of the solution and help shape a future worth believing in.